Wow. Brian Harvey has got a serious problem with that stalker. That's one creepy motherfucker, Brian. Right, I'll carry on eating my dinner now. Dogs are quiet. I've had to block the settee so they can't get up near my dinner. Yeah, right. Right, so you get the point. Right, now I'm going to explain what happened in that PTSD appointment. While I'm eating, which I'll leave for a moment. Right. Right, now what it was about was I was trying to get to the bottom of what's causing all the PTSD. Right? Which is simply from when I was gassed by the neighbour. Every time I hear a petrol strimmer, it puts me back in the moment. So I'm then laying back on my bed, face down, back completely locked up, so I can't move. My bedroom window's open, and the next door neighbour deliberately pointed his petrol strimmer exhaust pipe at my bedroom window. And then my bedroom filled up with carbon monoxide. Couldn't move. So I just said, "Cheers, mate." And he sort of giggled a bit as he walked off. Right? Knew exactly what he was doing. I didn't realise how dangerous it was though. Didn't affect me till the following day. Started being violently sick, as did my dog. But my dog started getting sick before me because it's got a smaller body mass. Alright, I lost that dog. She died from those injuries. Now I'm suffering effects from it, bodily, which is what I didn't want to go into with the rest of this letter. It's given me liver damage. And it started in 2018 when I was gassed. I was in no relationships at the time, so I had no women around me. Wasn't using any drugs, except I'd smoke, which I use for pain relief for my arthritis. Doctor's fully aware, as are the police. Not an issue. Nothing else was going on in my life at that time. I hadn't been near a woman for 10 years previous to that. So, completely out of the question it was related to that. Wasn't intravenously using drugs. Wasn't into no batty boy behaviour. So no reason I should have had liver damage. Start in 2018 after I'm gassed. So I did a quick check on the internet. Can carbon monoxide poisoning cause liver and blood issues? Yes, it can. So I went back to the doctors about it. Alright, the guy tried to kill me. Deliberately. But I keep reliving the moment every time I hear a strimmer. Whether I be in the city, Anyway, it just puts me straight back in that moment. It's PTSD, pure and simple. That's not half of it. Right, because I've always said that was deliberate. He was used as an actor, moved around near me, and then started causing all these problems. Then I went on the government's own website and looked up Investigatory Powers Act. Read it very, very thoroughly, including the codes of use. In those codes of use, it clearly says that if the local council or whatever agency is employing the Investigatory Powers Act, they can, let's say for example, say someone's selling illegal tobacco from a shop. They can then employ children as actors to go and get information for them without parents' permission, right? To set up the people to sell cigarettes or illegal cigarettes to children, right? Duty-free cigarettes, yeah. But that's one example of how that technique is employed. Now, the codes of use clearly state those actors can be used after being inserted around a person's life, either as neighbours or just worm their way into your life. They can then be used to gather information on the targeted person, who the state is trying to assess as whether a threat or not to them. While they're doing that, they said it's okay for them to use actors to get that information and force the information, you know, by stressing the person out to get them talking or drug them or whatever tactic, yeah. For reasons of sectioning under the Mental Health Act, imprisoning, remember that, or if the person is still deemed a threat to the state, to actually kill that sovereign-born person. It's on the government's own website. Go and look it up. I have been aware of it all along. Now, remember being gassed, being imprisoned as soon as I reacted to it. Now, again, the week before they imprisoned me, or 2 weeks before they imprisoned me, they made an attempt to section me under the Mental Health Act. The video's on my thingy, where I'm recording the police as they're illegally trying to section me under the Mental Health Act. They failed. So they failed at the Mental Health Act. Yeah. Then they imprisoned me. And so I said something to a few of the prisoners in there about someone's car crash near Sandringham. And I said, yeah, if they're not careful, they're going to lose her and all. Really, they said. I said, well, you'll see. Anyway. Currently, sectioning failed. Prison has done what? Still ain't my food. I'm behaving. But it hasn't made me fear them, has it? Let's look at that again. Hasn't made me fear them, has it? Instead, it's the other way round. They're assessing me if I'm a threat or not. So next, if they do determine that I'm a threat and I can look after myself, even against the top of the tree, you see where I'm going with that, don't you? So I'm unafraid because I'm a slider. I can manipulate energy. And if they try to use the legal word spells, which is exactly how I reversed that, instead of it being detrimental to myself, it then became detrimental to the powers that be, didn't it? In their keenness to write it all down while they was assessing me, they sealed their own fate. You see what I'm saying now? So, yeah, Brian Harvey might have a stalker, but what's he worried about? He shouldn't be worried of it. Same as he shouldn't have been worried about the top of the tree going after him. I did tell him that a long time ago, but there you go. That man deserves to be left in peace. You know? Same as I deserve to be left in peace. We don't need all this bullshit in our lives. None of us do. But it's happening in the UK. Some pretty weird damn shit. And if you talk about it, it makes you sound mad. There you go. And then you get all this. You see what I'm saying? But it can't stop the truth. That did happen at that appointment. Because we went through the whole thing being set up under the Investigatory Powers Act. Is that right? She said. I said, yeah. I said, I did some looking up and I found it can only be authorised for use even under suspicion of a crime. It has to be authorised by the local MP. Remember that. So if it's to do with the government, it's also to do with the Crown, isn't it? Because they're her representatives. So if you reverse one of their spells, even a legal word spell, by knowing how they do it, and you then get them to do their work for the system, and it backfires on them. Do you expect them to learn that lesson or not? Or would they test it again? I've already said that'd be a foolish thing to do because there's a new name above the door of the courts and the notes and everything else and the corrupt system. Let that sink in, because the last name above the door didn't make it, did she? Right, so there you go. Right, I've used the last of my gas up now. I only had £1.70 or something on the gas meter I checked earlier. So it was enough to cook me dinner with. What have I got there? Another £3-4 that'll last until I get my universal credit. So I'm alright. I can still keep eating. Still keep building my weight back up now. It was only to do with the medication that I got put on, because they told me I had a medical issue, which my father died from something similar in the last 2 weeks. Me personally, I think it was pills, potions and spells from the system and their warped Christian ideas or ideology. You know, you can only get to the Father through the Son. So if you want to get to someone's father, you go through the Son to do it, don't you? In their warped ideology. So, yeah, I've always said they're probably sugar pills. They're just telling me I'm ill. But I'll take them anyway, see what happens. Alright, so I've been dealing with grief, but not in the way how I would be expected to be completely devastated and broken by it. And I think that was the original plan. So I'd shut up. Forget about all of them. I just focus on my family. I think that's what it was done for. Could be wrong, but who knows in this crazy fucked up country we live in. Right. You want the last little bit of that, do you, Marnie? I know you do, Hulk. Let's get some light in here. Now I've got the now the van's gone from next door with the blacked out back windows. It's pointing at my front room window. I can lift the blinds up now. Get some light in here. Hang on, Marnie, I'll sort that out for you. Right. So that's what that letter was about, yeah? Doesn't matter if you've got a stalker, even if it's the state gang stalking you. Doesn't matter. We can look after ourselves, can't we, Marnie and Hulk? Everything's good on that regard. Right, I've got a sink full of washing up. And housework to catch up on, where it's been left for the last couple of weeks. So, bit by bit, I'm coming back together again now. Funeral's next week, on Monday. So, yeah. There you go. Hasn't broken me though, has it? Like they intended. Take care now.